Hey, how's it going, everybody? So, I know a lot of you have been asking me about my tracking sheet, how I keep track of everything. Well, today I finally got my computer set up. I've got the tracking sheet right where I'd like it for myself. You're more than welcome to use it. I will have a blank copy of this on a Google Drive. The link to download it will be down in the description. Again, this is just how I track everything so that I know I'm getting paid what I'm supposed to. If you're not tracking your stuff, you're not really doing it right. Uh, that is like one of the biggest things that I can say is you're a business owner. You need to be tracking everything. You've got to be tracking your expenses. You've got to be tracking your income. Uh, it is trucking. So you definitely need to know how much you're pulling in and how much you're spending out because if you want to make money, you got to know all that. This is how I do that. The sheet that you see in front of you right now, this is my week 2. I did my week 2 in review. This is my week 2 tracking sheet. This workbook is set up by weeks, week 1 through 52, because there's 52 weeks in the year. Now, at the end of this year, this workbook will not be entirely accurate because I will not have worked all 52 weeks. I will not have all 52 weeks of information because I'm only going to work 13, 12 or 13 before the year ends. So keep that in mind if you start using this tracker. At the very end, when I show you the yearly totals, your first year will never match up unless you're starting on January 1st as your first week. Just disclaimer. But anyways, let's get into it. Okay, so what you see here is over here, I have the date that I picked the loads up. So this very first one right here, I picked up on September 26th of 25 in Endicott, Nebraska, going to Saddlebrook, New Jersey. That was the final delivery location. I had 232 miles of deadhead, 1,406 loaded miles for a grand total mileage of 1,638. Now, disclaimer with this, I use address to address mileage to figure out my rate per mile. Okay? I don't do the zip code to zip code, and I don't only factor in loaded miles. You're going to use fuel in your deadhead. It's got to come from somewhere. So why not factor it into your rate per mile? It works. So for this load here, I got paid $2,700. That was the rate con. That was what the broker paid. For a actual rate per mile of $1.65 with the deadhead and the loaded miles, address to address on everything. Out of that 2,700, my split of that was $2,295. That was Billor after Billor took their 15%. That was my 85%. Okay, down here you see on October 1st, I picked up in Williamsport, Pennsylvania. My final delivery, because this was a 2 delivery load, I had a delivery in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky with this, but my final delivery location was Phoenix, Arizona. That's where I emptied out. I had 184 miles of deadhead to go from Saddlebrook to Williamsport. My loaded mileage on this one was 2,395 for a grand total mileage of 2,579. My rate con on this was 4,850 for a grand total RPM of $1.88 a mile. My split, my 85% was $4,122.50. Those were the 2 loads that I had booked for my settlement on Thursday, which I got paid for on Friday. Now, along with that, I had $1,525.99 in fuel. I had $191.90 in fintech charges, which was basically yeah, you're fine. Which was basically I needed to get new dunnage. I got 12 pieces of dunnage. They helped me out financially with that, and they took it out this settlement, $191.90 after the interest charges, which I went over in my week 2 review video. Now, if you come down here, my fixed cost per week is $1,647.02. My totals for the week was 416 miles of deadhead, 3,801 miles of loaded miles, for a grand total mileage of 4,200. Yeah, 4,217. My grand total gross was 7,550 for a average weekly RPM of $1.79. I myself, my 85% that I made gross was $6,417.50. Again, I spent $1,525.99 in fuel. When my settlement came out, I was able to get this number, which is the only way you will get this number is when the settlement comes out. My fuel rebate, which was $45.78, for a gross due to me of $3,098.37. That number matched exactly what Billor sent me. So I knew before they sent me my settlement in my email, I knew exactly what I was pulling in. And actually, I think, there we go. Bum, 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 bum. Let's see if it will. Oh, I never. No, that's not the right one. Do it like this. Do it like this. There we go. We will let that go. Anyways, it matched my settlement. That's the only thing I can say without pulling my settlement up. It matched my settlement perfectly. So that's how I track everything. Literally, that is how I track everything. Now, my week 1, I didn't put my fuel rebate in there because, as you can see here, I didn't make anything my first week. They actually paid me the $1,000 guarantee, which Billers offers the first 4 weeks. If you make less than $1,000, you bring home no less than $1,000. This is my week 2. My week 3, as you can see here, is already shaping up to be pretty interesting. So tomorrow I will go pick up my load in Phoenix, Arizona. It has another pickup in Boise, Idaho, one delivery in Fairview, Oregon, and then final delivery in Auburn, Washington. 25 miles of deadhead, 1,583 loaded miles for a grand total of 1,608 miles. We only got $2,900 for a RPM of $1.80. I am getting 2,465. Unfortunately, because I got paid for the load that I delivered this morning here in Phoenix on Thursday, my weekend fuel was not factored into last week's settlement. So I am already $1,351.99 in the hole on fuel. So I got to make that up. My fixed cost again, $1,647.02. Right now, I am projected to bring in negative $533.11. That total will change when I get up to Washington. I'll have obviously more fuel that I will have purchased, but I will also load out again on Thursday and I will get paid for that load. So hopefully everything will come back around and I will make again over $3,000. I won't know until I see what Thursday brings. That's just, yeah, that's trucking. But as you can see, everything here every week is set up the same. Now we're going to go out here to the end. Boop, 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 boop. Which is going to be week 52. Here's week 52 and yearly totals. So for the year, I have made a grand total of $15,000 gross with my load tomorrow. Myself, my 85%, I have made $12,750. I have spent $4,739.10 in fuel. My average rate per mile is $1.89. Uh, I will have driven because I've already put my mileage for tomorrow's load in 7,925 miles. My yearly total fixed expenses, truck fuel or truck insurances, all that stuff, will end up being $85,645.04. And right now, because I haven't that fixed expenses, I haven't overcome that yet. I am negative $77,780.26 for the year. But that's how, you know, it plays out. You really got to figure out that your fixed cost per week, you're going to be in the negative. While you've got that truck payment, you're not making any money. I mean, that's almost that's $52,000. Well, no, it's like $45,000 that you're spending every year to buy the truck. That's, you know, quite a bit. And then you've got $300 a week in trailer rental fees. You've got, what is it, $400 for your insurance. Again, these are all things you have to think about doing this as the fact that you are a business owner. You start the year in the negative, and you've got to work to get yourself out of the negative. But again, this is what I got going on. Yeah, as you can see, it is pretty well straightforward. The only thing up here that I don't have factored into this is this section down here, miscellaneous expenses not taken out of settlement. That's anything that you use your bank card to pay for. So if you buy, a shower, or you buy uh, fuel additives or oil or anything like that, you're not going to put that out. It's not going to come out of your settlement. You're going to buy that with your bank card. You can track that here per week, the amount spent. You still got to keep your receipts for Uncle Sam, because of course it's Uncle Sam. But that's what this section down here is for. If you're not worried about that, this up here will track everything else. These here are your rolling totals for the week. Again, I will have this posted in Google Drive, free to download. You guys are more than welcome to download it and use it. It, it will be there. I will have the link in the description for this tracker that, like I said, anybody can open up. You can use it. You're only going to want to fill in these sections here, this section here, these sections here, and this section here, and that one there. Everything else is automatic. If you click on a cell and you see a formula in here, don't change it. You only need to worry about this, 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 and this. That's all you need. Everything else will auto-calculate for you. Pretty self-explanatory, pretty easy. It will help you a ton in the long run, especially if this is your first time lease purchasing. Uh, you really got to get yourself into that business owner mindset. You really need to track all of your expenses. You need to know what's coming in, what's going out. You need to see where you're at, operating cost wise. I don't have operating costs figured up into this. You know, I focus on raw numbers, which might be kind of bad, but I know that like this right here, $1.65, that is too low. My RPM should not ever be below $1.85. Otherwise, I'm not going to make money. And that load there, I did not make any money. I didn't. So you factor in the fact that, I only got paid $22.95 for it. My weekly fixed is $16.45. That only leaves me a little over $600 for fuel. Right there broke me even. These two here came out of this one. So $1.65 will break me even if I don't have any fuel costs, which I didn't, to add into this week. But yeah, so there you go. I mean, if you guys got any questions, feel free to hit me up and ask. Again, I did this video because I finally got my everything hooked up so that I could. So yeah, I mean, I hope this helps you guys. Again, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to hit me up on this. You can use it on your phone. You will need a Microsoft 365 Office 365 subscription, which I think is only like $10 a month. Uh, you know, but there you go. I hope this helps you. Again, go ahead and use it. Peace out, folks, and I will see you on the